And today we're having a conversation about CPA, or your cost per acquisition. This is a metric that everyone online is obsessed with. And as we get into 2023, 2024, CPA is higher than ever for various reasons. But today is a conversation about why you actually shouldn't be caring or track your CPA moving into 2024. So let's unpack this a little bit. A few years ago, most brands would, and most marketers would look at CPA per platform. So what I mean by that is, if you're doing marketing across Google Ads, if you're doing marketing across Meta, TikTok, influencers, etc., you would usually measure your acquisition cost per platform. So you would look at Facebook and you'd be like, all right, our CPA is $39. Cool. And then you go to Google Ads and you're like, wow, our CPA is $57. And then, wow, we moved to TikTok and our CPA is $19. And based on looking at each platform acquisition cost, this would incorrectly lead marketers and business owners and CMOs in larger corporations to look at that and say, okay, so based on this, TikTok is our best acquisition cost. Therefore, we should probably stop our efforts on Facebook and probably even Google because, wow, we're just bleeding on those platforms. And this is a conversation about why moving into 2024, that is the wrong way of continuing to measure your effectiveness online with marketing. The real metric that we need to be looking at is not platform-specific CPA, but it is what we call your blended CPA. Blended CPA is a term that means that we want to take into consideration the entire customer journey. And let's first unpack how to calculate that, and then why this is actually the right way to approach understanding your acquisition cost online moving into the new year. So your blended CPA is there to calculate your blended CPA across platforms. Okay, so that's a bit redundant. What I mean by that is, in the past, you would literally look at your acquisition cost on Google and you would say, all right, our CPA on Google is going to be how much we spent on Google Ads divided by the total number of orders that Google says we got. Cool. And that's how you would calculate platform-specific CPA. Now, blended CPA is where you want to take into consideration all of your paid ad expenses. So if you are advertising on Amazon PPC, if you're advertising on Google, and you're advertising on Meta, what you want to do is you want to add up your, say, over a period. So let's say you're doing like a monthly analysis of this, of like what your CPA was in November. You're going to add up all of your ad spend from Amazon PPC, from Meta, from Google Ads, and you're going to have a lump sum number of how much you spent on ads. You're going to take that number and you're going to divide it by the total number of orders that you got through those paid efforts. So you then want to go into Seller Central, find out the number of orders you got on Amazon and the number of orders you got on Shopify. You want to add those together. And then how to calculate blended CPA is you're going to take the total ad spend that you've calculated, divide that by the total orders, and that is going to give you a metric called blended CPA, or your blended cost per acquisition. So let's unpack why this is actually the smart and, in my opinion, the only way to track acquisition cost moving into the new year. The way that customers shop is let's talk about how they don't shop. Most people think in the beginning that the way customers shop is they see an ad for a company they've never heard of on Facebook or Instagram, they click it, and they buy, or they don't buy. And they're generally looking for like a quick return of same day purchase for top of funnel cold traffic. Unicorns happen more often than that happens. Actually, that's a lie. We had that happen with a new brand yesterday. But the way that customers are actually shopping, and the data is supporting this across all niches, across all brands, is that the way someone actually goes from discovering your brand to making a purchase is generally that if you have a top of funnel marketing strategy where you have meta ads finding people on Instagram and Facebook, and someone discovers your product on Instagram, they're going to click the ad, go to your website, but then immediately they might head over to Google before buying and Google the name of your website and look into your brand for reviews, maybe people talking about your product. What they're doing is they're trying to learn a little bit more about what it is and honestly if it's legit and if it's as good as it looks on the ad. And after they go to Google, Google will then bring them back to their website or some reviews. And after they come back to your website, after fourth point of contact, they might join your email list, or they might, sign up for an SMS deal you have on for 10% off their first order. But right then and there, they're not ready to make a purchase. So they're just going to sit on your email list for a couple weeks. And after receiving a couple of emails, or maybe they're hit with a remarketing ad where they see your ad on YouTube or Google Shopping, and they're reminded later of, oh yeah, I wanted to buy that supplement. A couple weeks later, they'll then buy your product. This is the average customer journey of someone going from discovering your product to buying it. So on average, you're looking at, and this is something you should definitely set up in Explore mode on, in Google and GA4 or Google Analytics to understand how your customers are actually shopping and what is the buyer cycle between first click, when they first discover your brand, and when they make that purchase. But it is not that they're literally going to find you and then make that purchase immediately. So we need to, when we look at how we calculate acquisition cost, because people generally don't buy just off of Facebook that first time, they're going to buy because of multiple efforts you have going on. We can't really expect, if we calculate platform specific CPA, that's not an accurate representation of how that platform is actually working to get you customers and how effective it is or not. We need to look holistically at your total paid ad over total orders to get to that blended CPA metric to really understand how effective your funnel is online. So this is where we step into an omni-channel approach, which is why, that's topic for another episode. But we have to match our calculations based on the actual customer journey and not based on, Meta says our acquisition cost is super high and Google's actually more favorable. If we worked with a brand a while back that looked at the acquisition cost on Facebook separately from Google, and she was like, hey, Google CPA seems to be a lot better than Facebook. So why don't we ditch Facebook? And here's why, real life example of why that's a bad strategy. The way that we look at each paid ad platform in the funnel is your Meta, Facebook, Instagram is going to be that top of funnel audience. It's how what we call brand awareness. It's a platform we use to get people to be introduced to your product. And that's not part of the warm-up phase. It's hey, we want to introduce your brand to people so that they go to your website and they start doing a bit of digging. Google in the strategy is therefore a remarketing component where generally the Google you're finding is high intent purchases. So you're going to find that people are either purchasing after searching for your brand because they're now familiar with it, they've built up a bit of trust, and they're ready to purchase. That's one reason why your Google acquisition cost might be a lot more favorable than Meta. It's because of where we're hitting people in the funnel. So that's a few things to keep in mind, and I am going to stake my claim and say CPA is the wrong way to measure your business performance online in 2024. You need to look at it holistically and align your omni-channel marketing strategy around the customer journey. And that's how you have an effective marketing strategy and overall really, really understand what your true CPA is across all channels. All right. Thanks for listening. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast if you are a new listener. And of course, if you have a topic that you would like me to include in a future episode, please email us at hello@launchandscale.co. Outside of that, if you are looking for resources to help grow your business to that $1 million level and really build a standout brand that is profitable, head over to launchandscale.co. We have a few great ebooks to help you build a $1 million brand, $1 million presence online. All right, guys, talk soon.